Jeffrey Purcell, is it difficult just to do the basic work of getting race data from Latinos?
It's proved to be very difficult. The Latino population is largely of immigrants and of immigrant origin. And in a lot of countries in Latin America, the concept of race is very different from the concept of race in the United States. So the immigrants and their children, when they come here and are confronted with this form, just really don't know how to answer it, because the categories don't mean the same things that they mean in the home country as they do here. So it's been it's been a sort of 30 to 40 year battle by the Census Bureau to try to get Latinos to answer the questions the way the Census Bureau would like them to answer the questions. And the population, Latinos and non-Latinos, answer the questions the way they perceive them. So for a very large percentage of the Latino population, the racial identification is that of Latino or national origin, and it doesn't fit neatly into the boxes the Census Bureau has put there. They've tried different orders of the question, different instructions, and there's some indications that a slightly larger percentage of the Latino population is answering within these categories, but there's still a very large segment, about a third of the Latino population, doesn't perceive these racial categories as applying neatly to them.
Was it hard work, Raul, for the Bureau to design these questions, both in English and in Spanish, in a way that's going to get the answers that you're looking for?
Well, clearly that there's a lot of discussion, particularly with the 2010 census, about the race question. But I would point out that in the 2000 census and in this census, you can mark more than one box in the race question. So you can mark 1 or 2 or 3 or write in. So to the public, it's self-identification. Like I like to say, is that there's no wrong answer. The public can mark the answers as they see themselves, and you know, we'll have to address this. My understanding is that we're already in conversations with the Office of Management and Budget to see what we're going to do for the next census. So, but again, you know, the public can just mark it, and we'll have to see what the results are. So.
Was Naleo interested in the design of these questions? Advocacy groups for now decades have questioned the design of these particular sample questions because they say, oh, well, we'll get an underreport on our numbers the more choices you give people.
Naleo was engaged with the 2010 census since 1999 and how it was created, provided a lot of feedback on it. The question that's printed now, we're doing a lot of education to make sure that individuals understand the power of self-identification, and we are working already on the 2020 census and providing a lot of feedback on how the Hispanic question and how the race question is impacting the community. Naleo coordinates a campaign called Ya es hora, hágase contar, which National Council of Raza is one of our national partners. We have a hotline number for individuals to call, an English and Spanish hotline, to ask questions, and one of the highest rates of questions and inquiries is, what is this race question? And what does it mean? Do I fill it out wrong? I don't want to not be counted. I don't want to not help my community. And the biggest question is, you have to self-identify, but we're going to bring back a lot of the questions and concerns from the community in the creation of the next census.
Clarissa, why is it important to know, I mean, if you're asking, are you from Latin American origin? I forget the exact, is person one of Hispanic, Latino, or Spanish origin, and then there's all these choices. Why is it also important to know the race?
Well, I think Latinos, you know, what I was saying earlier, the U.S. is a country of mutts, and Latinos are the epitome of mutts, right? We can be of any race. And I think as the Latino population grows in the United States, it just adds a greater dimension to our community to know that kind of information. Because I think, you know, from the perspective of us as a a civil rights organization, I think it also solidifies how we are linked to all these different cultures and races. And I think that's a very important, looking at the future of the country and as we prepare to how do we govern a diverse population, Latinos actually have a part of every race in us. And I think that some of us, identify more as Asian or as Afro-Latino or as white, but we come in all colors. And I think as the population grows, that diversity and that kind of information becomes ever more important.